Alexis Seals, and this is Fact or Fiction. Today, the election of the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, will open opportunities for African Americans in politics. Let's find out. My name's Alexis. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, wait. What's your name?
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie, hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank
That's
you.
amazing. All right, we have a question for you. Fact or fiction? All right. The election of the 44th President of the United States.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, that's correct. Barack Obama will open opportunities for African Americans in politics.
False.
Why do you say that?
Because what does representation have to do with people's real lives?
Word. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye. Follow me. That was correct. She said representation. And that's right. So the election of the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, has done little to change the complexion of the government at the national or state level, elected or appointed. All right, that's all. Back to you.
Thank you, Alexis, for a great start to our public service announcement, Fact or Fiction edition. There are many myths about the Black community that can find their way into our everyday lives. Myths about Black people and Black families come from a variety of places like sociologists, legislation, social media, pseudoscience, and the like. Trying to discern the myths from the realities can be challenging, but this public service announcement will highlight popular misconceptions in order to learn the facts and forget the fiction. Now, let's hear from Abby in the facts and fictions she found regarding Black students in higher education.
Fact or fiction? Minority students receive more than their fair share of scholarships. Fiction. Reality is the minority students are less likely to win private scholarships or merit-based institutional grants than white students. Among undergraduate students enrolled in bachelor's degree programs at four-year colleges and universities, the minority students represent about a third of applicants, but slightly more than a quarter of private scholarship recipients. White students receive more than 3/4, which is 76% of all institutional merit-based scholarship and grant funding. And even though they represent less than 2/3, 62% of the student population. White students are also 40% more likely to win private scholarships than minority students. There are some scholarships restricted to white students, the whites-only scholarships and white restricted-only scholarships. These are often created by students who are or were frustrated at their own inability to win and find scholarships. Some examples of these include United Caucasian College Fund, the UNCCF, and the United White Persons College Fund. These are restricted to only white students. Another example right here at the University of Missouri in 2004, the Kurt Otis Partnership for Socioeconomic Scholarships was created and later named the American Coalition for Socioeconomic Scholarships. These are restricted to undergraduate students who are at least an eighth European American descent. There are also several college-specific endowed scholarships that are restricted to only Caucasian students.
Thanks, Abby. It's important for the public to highlight these facts because the myths about funding for higher education affects everyone, like students, parents, politicians, and professors. Now, let's take to the streets of Columbia to find out if the public knows their facts from fiction.
Hey, Peyton. Hey. Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
So I kind of wanted to know if you thought this statement was fact or fiction, okay?
Okay.
All right, so African Americans are more likely to be in prison because they commit more crimes. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Correct. So actually, the reality of it is that the primary reason for overrepresentation of African Americans in jail and prison is because they face discrimination at every level of the criminal justice system. And then another cause of over-incarceration is the inequities of the drug laws. So, for example, the possession of crack cocaine and powder cocaine. Do you know the difference?
No.
I didn't think so. So basically, crack cocaine is the much cheaper alternative option. So it's more available to people with low income and poverty because you're able to find cheaper ingredients and lace it with other stuff versus powder cocaine that's pure. And so who gets more of the powder cocaine that's more expensive and pure is the wealthy, rich, white people.
Yeah.
Completely unfair, right? And so, for example, there was one study that found that 5 milligrams of crack cocaine carried a 5-year prison sentence, while 500 grams of powder cocaine carried the same 5-year sentence.
That seems pretty unfair.
Unfair, right?
Yeah, it does.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and this is
Lexi, I'm her friend.
Yep. So I am going to educate Lexi today. So, do you believe that African American families are more likely to favor corporal punishment than white parents?
Yes.
Why do you think that?
I just think that the way that some people were raised and like kind of their culture, for example, someone probably like their culture probably thinks that spanking a child is more likely to get the point across rather than just like verbally telling them like, oh, don't do this again.
Okay, that's very interesting. So actually, the reality is that there are many factors that influence the likelihood that a parent will favor spanking, no spanking, or use other forms of physical punishment. There is absolutely no evidence that African Americans are more likely to favor a good spanking. There are many experts that agree that this is simply a byproduct of the fact that African American families are more likely to be poor, young parents, live in the South, and hold conservative views, all of which are highly correlated with both attitudes towards spanking and the actual use of corporal punishment. So, did you learn anything today?
Yes.
So now do you think that African American families are more likely to favor corporal punishment?
No.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Welcome to another round of Fact or Fiction. You guys ready?
Yeah.
So, here's your statement. African Americans don't marry because slavery broke the black family and it has never been repaired. And they are of a lower moral character. Fact or fiction?
I'm gonna go with fiction.
I'll go with fiction also.
Do you guys have any reasoning behind that answer?
Would you like to go
No,
first?
you go first.
Okay, well, I think that broke the family is just very, that's just very, absolute language. And so I don't think that that's the case. And also, from what I know about enslaved people in, the past, that, they still had family systems and, marriage, and they had children. And just because that was, strictly policed doesn't mean that didn't exist.
I also just feel like saying that they're of lower moral character, that kind of sticks out. That's like, oh, that's not right.
Yep.
So
you guys are correct. That is fiction.
high five. Yeah.
Nice.
So, although African Americans have the lowest rates of marriage compared with other racial and ethnic groups in the U.S., half of all African Americans do marry. Given this history of beliefs and laws that discourage or prohibited interracial marriage involving African Americans, when they do marry, they are more likely to marry each other. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you guys for your myth-busting efforts. You certainly helped us learn the facts from the fiction. If there's one thing we hoped you learned, it's don't believe everything you hear. Myths about Black people and Black families are unfounded and untrue. While some things are true, like the fact that Black people are disproportionately imprisoned, there are structural and social factors that contribute to these statistics. When we learn the myths from the realities, we can lead the public to find more constructive solutions, and hopefully we can all come together to change the world. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you smash that subscribe button, like, comment, share, and tell a friend. And don't forget, if you come across a statement and you can't tell if it's fact or fiction, remember to ask a friend, Google it, do some research, and spread the word to help make the world a better place.